We tend to think of anger as this big, loud explosion, right? Obvious, messy. But what if the most powerful form of anger isn't an outburst at all? What if it's the exact opposite? Calculated, strategic, and completely silent.
Wow, that's a powerful idea, isn't it? While the loud person is showing all their cards, just laying their entire hand on the table, the quiet one, they're holding a hidden advantage. Their silence isn't empty space, it's where strategy is born. So let's dig into the psychology behind why that is.
And this is the core question, isn't it? Because we're all sort of conditioned to see silence in a conflict as weakness or submission. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Let's try to reframe that silence, not as being passive, but as a calculated source of some serious power.
To really get this, we've got to put the two classic responses to conflict side by side. Think of it as a tale of two very different tempers, one that's explosive and one that's totally contained.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Loud anger is pure reaction. It's a knee-jerk thing. It's transparent, it's predictable, and honestly, it's pretty easy to manipulate. But silent anger, oh, that's a different beast entirely. It's calculated, it's unreadable, and it shifts the entire dynamic from just an emotional shouting match to a strategic standoff.
And let's be super clear about something. This isn't about bottling up your feelings. That's just suppression, and it's not healthy for anyone. No, this is an active, conscious choice to weaponize the absence of noise, to turn silence itself into a powerful tool.
So you're probably asking, okay, how does this actually work in the real world? Well, it all starts with the first and most fundamental power tool, the pause. This one simple act is the foundation for absolutely everything that follows.
Now, the science behind the pause has a fancy name. It's called Cognitive Inhibition. But really, all it means is the ability to hit a mental circuit breaker. It's that critical, tiny little gap between feeling that first rush of anger and actually doing something about it.
And the advantages of mastering this? Oh, they are huge. That split second of a pause is where the entire power dynamic shifts. It stops you from making a dumb emotional mistake. It gives you the space to think strategically instead of just reacting. And maybe the most important part, it lets you dictate the pace of the whole interaction. You own the silence.
Okay, so if the pause is the circuit breaker that stops the surge, then our second power tool, regulation, is more like the thermostat. It's what controls the emotional temperature of the entire room.
Emotional regulation just means you are not a slave to your feelings. You don't explode, you manage. Think about it. The person who's shouting is being controlled by their anger, but the person who's regulating is in control of their anger. Big difference. By staying calm, you become a total black box. The other person can't push your buttons because you've basically put them behind a control panel. You project this aura of just unshakable control, and you get to conserve all that mental energy for when you actually decide to make your move.
And that internal control leads us right to our third and final power tool, which is all about shifting your focus outward. This is hyper-awareness.
This is where it gets really interesting. While the loud person is spending all their energy on their outburst, they are essentially just handing you their playbook. They're broadcasting their weaknesses, their fears, their intentions, and all you have to do is listen.
So what does this actually look like in that moment? Well, it's kind of like a four-step process. First, you just observe. You detach and watch the outburst almost like a scientist. Second, you ignore the noise, the insults, the volume. It's all just static. Third, you identify the real message hidden underneath all that static. What are they really afraid of? What do they really want? And only then, once you've collected all that data, do you move to step 4, calculate your response. It's a completely data-driven approach to conflict. Just let that sink in for a second. While they are busy shouting, you are quietly reading them. Their own anger becomes your intelligence. Every shout is another data point that helps you understand what's really going on a level they can't even see themselves.
So we have the pause, we have regulation, and we have hyper-awareness. Now let's put all three of these powerful tools together and see the complete picture of how silence works as a strategy.
So you see how it all works together, right? The pause buys you the time to think. Regulation makes you an unreadable, unpredictable opponent, and hyper-awareness lets you turn their angry outbursts directly into your own personal intelligence. It's a complete system for navigating conflict, not with brute force, but with surgical precision.
Ultimately, it really just comes down to this. The loud, reactive person is playing checkers. They're making simple, obvious moves. But the quiet, calculating person, well, they're playing chess. They're thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. They're playing an entirely different game.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you find yourself in a conflict, who are you going to be watching? The one making all the noise, or the one saying nothing at all? Because now you know. The real power isn't in the shouting, it's in the silence.